Okay, for more insight into how AI is changing both job roles and the hiring process, we're joined by Martin Ford, an American futurist. He's also the author of Rise of the Robots, Technology and the Threat of a Jobless Future. Martin, great to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, more and more job sites are using AI, as we just saw, but how common is it among hiring managers to turn to AI to sort of whittle it down and decide who they're going to bring in, who they're going to hire?
I think it's very common, especially within large companies, because they get thousands and thousands of applications. And so AI is very useful to shift through those. And in many cases, they're going beyond just looking through resumes, and the initial interview that candidates have is that they're actually talking to an AI system. They're not talking to a real person. And the AI will actually, make a recommendation based on that. So it's becoming very prevalent and really having a meaningful impact.
And AI used to write cover letters and also fill out job applications. Your thoughts on that? Are we talking about tweaking here and there a cover letter, or is it just letting AI take the ball and run with it?
I think many people are utilizing AI to produce all of it. So yes, it is leading to a situation where candidates are using AI and companies are using AI. So in some sense, the AIs are actually talking to each other, which is kind of remarkable in terms of how fast this is moving.
Yeah, are you at all concerned? I mean, you're a futurist, but are you at all concerned that we're losing the personal touch in all this? The kind of, you can sense this person has a good work ethic, I'm going to bring this person in.
That's a risk. I mean, in many aspects. I mean, as we become more dependent on AI, that's a problem. As people begin to have relationships with artificial intelligence, that's a problem. So relying too much on this technology definitely brings risks with it.
In terms of the AI use in the hiring process, walk us through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, it makes companies more efficient. I mean, again, they're getting just inundated with resumes, thousands upon thousands of resumes, and it does make the process more efficient. Maybe you could argue it makes it more fair to have an AI sift through all this. So that's the upside. The downside is, as you said, you might lose that personal touch. You might lose that case where a very unique person meets a hiring manager, and that manager sees something special in that person. That opportunity might disappear.
Yeah, and we've heard a lot about AI taking jobs that are out there. I want to get you to weigh in on that. Is it happening? Just how much is it occurring? And is this the future?
I think it is the future. And in fact, that's why I wrote my book, Rise of the Robots. It was published 10 years ago. And I think that it's inevitable that AI and robots are going to take a lot more jobs. And we are clearly much closer to that point now than we were, 10 years ago when I wrote the book. Already, we're beginning to see a measurable impact on some white-collar jobs, knowledge-based jobs, especially at the entry level. So the kind of jobs that are taken by recent college graduates, especially in areas like computer programming and other areas that are fairly susceptible to impact by AI. There's been a measurable impact there, as well as many anecdotal stories of students graduating from university and really struggling to find that first entry-level job.
Yeah, and with the sour job market now in the United States and the consumer confidence tanking, people are probably throwing stuff at the TV right now. Office workers appear to be most at risk, as you talked about, losing their jobs. But AI is largely replacing many white-collar jobs, which make up 45% of the workforce. Tell us what the future is going to look like and what the U.S. economy down the line is going to look like.
Right. I'm very concerned about this. I mean, it's not the case that there's an observable impact of AI more broadly. Like I said, mostly what we're seeing is at the entry level, but there could be a much more significant impact because these systems, from companies like AI and Google are getting dramatically better quite rapidly. So pretty soon they may get to the point where they can do a lot of the work that is done by typical knowledge workers. And the reality is that, as you said, that's a lot of employment. It's also some of the best jobs in the United States, right? These are people that make a lot of money. And then you've got to also look at the consumer spending side of it. I mean, in the United States, it is the case that the top 10% of the people by income, the top 10% of households, are responsible for fully half of all consumer spending. So what you see in every economic downturn is that unemployment increases, and then people stop spending, right? And then that drives the economy, and there's kind of a vicious cycle there.
Yeah.
So in this case, we're talking about the best consumers, right? The people that actually have the most money to spend, those are the ones that could potentially be impacted and cut back dramatically on their spending. And that's really going to have potentially quite a negative impact on the economy. And that's in very stark contrast to what many of the AI optimists will say, which is that, AI is going to cause the economy to boom, and the economy is going to grow at an unprecedented rate that we've never seen before. That's what many of the people in Silicon Valley who are very optimistic about this say, but I'm actually quite concerned that just the opposite could happen.
Yeah, and from what you're talking about, it seems like this void between the haves and have-nots is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. This chasm grows. And a new report out by OpenAI competitor Anthropic found that 77% of businesses using a company's AI software use it to automate tasks. So why replace human involvement altogether rather than augment these tasks?
Well, in some cases, it will augment what people do, at least for a time. And that's sort of, you can find someone else who doesn't agree with me on this, who will argue that it's always going to augment people and that jobs will never go away. I'm a bit more pessimistic. I think that eventually these systems will get to the level where they can completely automate a lot of work. And then we really need to think about what we do next. I mean, we've got to probably figure out an alternative to jobs as the mechanism that people get income, not just so that they can survive, and not be on the street, but so that they can and also go out and participate in the economy as consumers, because without that, demand for products and services is going to collapse, and that's going to create a bad situation for everyone.